let me tie this back to what we talked about. Seeing all the hate, et cetera, what happened to Mencia. What would you do differently about Carlos?
Nothing.
That's what I was thinking.
I wouldn't do a thing different. I took the hit, but it's like the hit wasn't bad because I was right, and eventually I knew they would realize I was right, and I would wish that he would realize I was right.
And well, the hate I also felt.
Well, people don't realize you took a hit. I think a lot of people's history of you is you called out Mencia and then you had the biggest podcast on the planet.
That's true also.
Yeah,
they don't know what you went through afterwards.
It wasn't bad. It was not bad.
Well,
bad things happen.
For comic standards, I think it is.
Well, I got banned from the Comedy Store. That was a real problem.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't Mitzi Shore's idea. The real problem was I was on the phone with Mitzi like more than an hour before they called me to tell me I was banned. So I was on the phone with Mitzi, and I told her, out of respect, what had happened. And I said, Mitzi, I go, we are fucking tired of this guy stealing jokes. She's like, Carlos, are you sure he's stealing? I go, Mitzi, we have videos of it. He's a fucking thief. And so we had this conversation on the phone, and she goes, well, just keep away from him. So I told her that we're going to release this video. She goes, well, just keep away from him. I go, I'll do whatever you want me to do. And she goes, okay, you want to go up tonight? And I said, sure. What time do you want to put me up? She goes, 10:30. I go, thank you very much. I love you. That's the last time I talked to her.
Wow.
That's sad.
And then I got a call an hour later, and I realized, like, she was in a state where Mitzi Shore is, like, legitimately, if you looked at all of the people that are important in the development of comedy, she's the #1 most important person that wasn't a comic.
Why?
#1.
Wait, why?
Because
she
let the Comedy Store.
Mitzi Shore owned the Comedy Store.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
for
sorry.
people-
I'm sorry. Mitzi Shore is Pauly Shore's mom. She's like, she started the Comedy Store with her husband. They got divorced. She got the Comedy Store, and she ran the Comedy Store in a way where, like, she was a strong lady, and she had fucking strong ideas about what was good and what was bad, and she would tell you right to your face. She would tell you, I fucking hate that bit.
Does she
I'd be
ever say that to you?
Shit, yes.
What's she saying?
I had this bit about Ann Nicole Smith and her husband. She fucking hated that bit because J. Howard Marshall, that dude who was like 150 years old.
Yeah, Biden.
I had this bit.
Genius.
He was older than Biden. He was Biden's dad. but she was responsible for the environment of the Comedy Store, where she just let the comedians express themselves the best way that they could and give them a home and set these standards. Like,
And
no
for those who
bullshit
don't know,
standards.
the Comedy Store prior,
Kinnison, Bill Hicks.
So many legends.
David Letterman.
Worked out there.
Yeah, Eddie Griffin, Damon Wayans was there a lot. Martin Lawrence was there a lot. It was like Dice Clay. Like, so many people came out of that place, and it was chaos, and it didn't always work out perfectly, but she designed it in a way where she could create a place where these really fucked up people could come and perform. And she would call it her island of misfit toys. She knew what she was doing, man. And, she's a completely unusual person.
Why?
Very few people just dedicate themselves to a thing like that and, like, have this idea of, like, what's the right way to do it, and they're right. She was right. She was right so often.
Yeah.
Like, someone would call and complain about Kinnison, and she would, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
She didn't give a fuck. She didn't give a fuck.
So then how
the
is
place
she-
is packed every night. She did not give a fuck.
But how is she okay with Mencia then? Because this is why
She didn't know, and I also think she was having some legitimate health problems by then, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay.
When I first met her, she was already in '94. She was already struggling a little, and then as time went on, it got worse. And I don't think, if people don't come to her and complain, I don't think she necessarily knows, unless she's watching every single set, who came up with this bit first.
Right.
She doesn't know.
Yeah.
Right? So if you just come down for one 20-minute set and you see someone kill and you go, oh my God, he's hilarious. If you had come 20 minutes before, you might have saw Paul Mooney do his version of it. Right? Yeah. And if that was the case, maybe then she would be able to go, hey, what the fuck? But like I said, even in the 90s, she was already struggling. She had I think it was a neurological disorder. And, it was hard for her. So I don't blame her, but she had ideas that didn't necessarily work, but you fucking never know what's going to work. How many people did we started out with that were like open micers that you
I think about that.
You knew they were funny.
Yeah.
And they just they fell apart on re-entry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Think about that. Like the first friend I knew that there was a comic that stopped, and they were funny too. But they just didn't want to go through it.
Dude, there's a girl that I dated when I was 21. There's a girl I dated when we were both open micers together. She was funnier than me. Like, she was so funny. She was hilarious. She was fucking hilarious. And I remember thinking, if I don't make it as a comedian, at least I fucked her. Anybody. That's the thing. It's like, I don't like trashing fellow comedians. I really don't. I genuinely don't.
No.
Did that change after Mencia? You felt a little bad?
Yes, 100%.
I
Really?
thought so.
You felt bad about
During
it?
the moment of it, I realized how much negativity it creates. I was almost looking at like if it was a system, right? If you're looking at a system, you're looking at like you input X and you get back this. And I'm like, okay, a good thing was done where people weren't in danger of having their intellectual property taken by someone who's far more successful. But the weird thing was the anger. Like watching the anger, like, bah! It's like you're throwing meat to a group of fucking piranhas. Like there's just this buzzing of people joining on one side or the other side. And I realized like a lot of this is not logical. And it's one of the problems with the way human beings interact with each other, that we just choose teams. And it's like a normal, natural inclination that we can't escape, no matter how logical you are. Like even if you're like a super logical person, you're still, there's some part of you that has an inclination towards teams.
So how do you push yourself away from it?
Just got to recognize what it is. Like know when it pops up and just go, this is a dumb road.
But is that tough for you? Like when you get shit on by one side specifically, and then the other side is like, yo, you're pretty cool. How hard is it for you to just stay even?
It's okay. Like I would shit on me for sure.
Wait, really?
If I didn't know me, yeah.
For what exactly?
Some other comic, I would make fun of me totally.
What would you say?
Oh, I'd say terrible things about steroid use and insecurities of being short. I have a lot of great jokes about me.
Really?
It'd be a lot of fun.
So you don't even when people make fun of you, do you care?
Well, you can care, but it's not going to change the way they think. Like it's not good if you hear it. Like if someone said it to my face, I'd be like, "That's mean."
Yeah.
Like, why are you being mean to me, man? I don't even know you.
Yeah.
People will say mean things to you just to try to get a reaction out of you. But those people are usually way more dangerous than the average person that says something online. The average person says something online, it's like you're not even connected. Like maybe you are. It's like you're trapped in a cave and there's like a tunnel that goes up to the air and you're like, fuck you! Like, you're not connected to that person. You're not in front of them. If someone is mean to you in front of you, that's a real problem.
Yeah.
And weirdness is when it spills over. When people get used to communicating with people the way they do on the internet and they try to do it in real life. And you see it all the time in World Star videos. They just get fucked up because they think they can talk shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Like they talk shit on the internet. They think they can just get away with it.
Yeah.
Like they don't have the same amount. If you're 24 and you lived in 1976, or if you're 24 and you live now, you got a totally different type of interaction with people.
Yeah.
These fucking people are interacting with people in a text form 60% of the time.
Yeah.
So if that's a part of your development, and everybody agrees, I agree that people who grow up in sort of like touch and go environments, they're a little slicker.
Yeah.
Right? We call it street smarts.
Yeah.
People who know, like, if you don't have any of that,
Forget it. It's over.
you're fucked.
Yeah.
And if all you're doing is texting, you're not experiencing life. You're trapped in your house.
You're trapped in
sitting
disconnect.
You're sitting on the couch getting a fucking neck cramp because you're fucking texting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the people of today.
Yeah.
That's what's weird about it.
Yeah.